The Rebbe says that this nekuda of Yira Shamayim, this treasure that is the essence of every Jew, is even higher than our makifim powers, the chaya in Yechida. It's even higher than Yechida. Dehine gam Yechida היא רק בחינת שם וגילוי בלבד. Yechida is even though we always say that Yechida is the highest aspect of the neshama, but it says Chamisha Shemus Nikre'u La, that the soul is called by 5 names. Yechida is the highest name of the soul. 5 names were given to the neshama. Nefesh, the lowest, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. Tonight is the 23rd of Teives, Tafshin Pei Daled, and we did learn already the Osyu Dalet of the original Maimar, for the success of the soldiers, the Chayalim and the Chayalot on the battlefield, and the safety and the protection of all Bnei Israel, the recovery of all those who are injured and are not well, and the returning home of those who are in captivity immediately and in a way that there would be no harm, beguf or benefesh. And we should all have the Geula Mitzvah Shleima, and this learning should be part of our participation in as the Anshe Achayil, as the simple soldiers on the battlefield, and we are participating Beruchnius, Be'ezras Hashem. So please go in the booklet to page Yud, and we are going to begin to see what the Rebbe spoke and said about Perek Yud Daled on Tafshin Chav Daled, which is 1964. And as happening in other years as well, there were times that the Rebbe spoke few times on Shabbos when he taught each year or a point of one of each perek of Basi Legani. The same thing happened also Tafshin Chav Daled, 1964, when the Rebbe explained Os Yud Daled that we already learned the original one last week. The Rebbe spoke 3 times. Friday night, after Ma'ariv, and then again the Rebbe gave another Maimar, Shabbos day, and then another Maimar, Motzei Shabbos, that was already recorded on a speaker and so on a microphone. That was Motzei Shabbos. We have the recording of Motzei Shabbos. We do not have the 2 Maimarim, Friday night and Shabbos day, but we do have the beginning of Shabbos day, which we are going to learn tonight, Be'ezras Hashem, about 4 pages from that Maimar of Shabbos day, and we have also comments,
recording in progress,
as we will see from Rabbi Yoel, who actually took Alav Shalom, who took notes and made comments about the comparison between one Maimar and another. So together we have most of the picture here, and usually the shinui between one Maimar and another were not big in an overt way, but here I was debating, should we learn this part or not, but I think it's very shayach, and you see on top it says Shabbos Parshas Beshalach, Yud Aleph Shvat, Maimar Beis. So this is from the second time that the Rebbe spoke. The Maimar said the Maimar, the Shabbos day, but we only have what the Rebbe began with, as we'll see in a moment. I think we should just start. So Tzidkat Pirzono B'Yisrael. The Rebbe begins with a pasuk from Shoftim. Shoftim, as you see, footnote 1, chapter Hey, pasuk Yud Aleph. This is from Shiras Devorah. What's the connection to Yud Shvat? Because this is the Haftarah that we read Parshas Beshalach on Yud Shvat, when Yud Shvat happens Parshas Beshalach. And the Rebbe is going to bring here a maimar from the previous Rebbe, from the Frierdiker Rebbe, Tzidkas Pirzono, that was actually said on Yud Tes Kislev, Taf Reish Pei Tes, 1929, on the Sheva Brachos of the Rebbe Shlita. During his Sheva Brachos, on Yud Tes, because the Rebbe got married Yud Daled, on Yud Tes Kislev, the Frierdiker Rebbe said this maimar, Tzidkas Pirzono. And we'll see how much is connected. First of all, we see that it's from Shirat Vorah, which connected to Yud Shvat. This is the Haftarah of Yud Shvat. And more than that, we will see, of course, through Yud Daled Kislev, the Rebbe became connected to the Frierdiker Rebbe. And we see that this is so much a maimar that really sheds light on the mission of the Rebbe taking on the Nesius and continuing from the Frierdiker Rebbe. And then this maimar, the Rebbe is going to bring this maimar that was said on his own Sheva Brachos, on Yud Tes Kislev, Taf Reish Pei Tes, by his father-in-law, the one that published Basi Legani. And we see how much it's relevant to the Rebbe's Nesius and to our generation and to our time especially, Be'ezus Hashem. So let's read inside. Tzidkas Pirzono B'Yisrael. So now we will have an issue with the word Pirzono. The pasuk in Shoftim Dvorah HaNevi'ah, the prophetess Dvorah, brings the righteousness, the tzidkas, the righteousness of the Pirzon of Hashem in Israel. So the verb pei reish zayin, paraz, is exchanged here by Chazal with the verb pazar, pei zayin reish. We'll see that the word pirzono is translated and explained in two ways. One way is like Prazos Teshev Yerushalayim. We have a song like that. It's a song. Prazos Teshev Yerushalayim. Prazos means a city which is Ir Prazos means a city that because it is so secured, it doesn't need to have walls. And it can expand infinitely without needing to protect itself. And that's the condition of Yerushalayim when she will not need the walls anymore. And she will not have to be protected anymore because we will be in the time of Geula when Hashem is rewarding us with what is called Prazon, Pirzono. So we already realize that spiritually, what does it mean, Prazon? Pirzon, paraz, means to go beyond boundaries. Beyond boundaries. And this is connected to the reward that Hashem is going to give to the Jewish people at the time of redemption. But we are also going to see the other simpler meaning of the word pirzono, which is pizrono. Lefazer means to spread. So, the Dvorah HaNevi'ah brings here Tzidkas Pirzono B'Yisrael, the righteousness of Hashem rewarding the Jewish people. And it's connected, as the Rebbe says, Ula'el Minei, the passage before it says, Ksiv Mikol Mechatzetzim Bein Mash'abim Gomer. From the voice of those who are called Mechatzetzim, Bein Mash'abim Gomer. What does it mean, Mechatzetzim? So our Chachamim explain that Mechatzetzim are those Chachamim that know halacha and know how to make chatzitza, mechitza, to separate and distinguish and make a wall, so to speak, a chatzitza, a separation between tahor and tameh, between kodesh and chol, and so on and so forth. That's the Mechatzetzim. So the voice of those who are experts, the Talmidei Chachamim, or experts in Torah, and בין משאבים, לשאוב means to draw. These are the sages who are drawing the wisdom from the Torah and nurturing, giving it to the people. ומביא על זה כך כמו חדמור בעל ההילולה. So the בעל ההילולה of י' שבט, the Frierdiker Rebbe, brings מה שאמרו רבותינו זיכרונם לברכה, in מסכת פסחים. אמר רבי הושעיה. Rabbi Hoshaya said, מלשון, and the Rebbe says, Hoshaya is מלשון, his name is Hoshaya, Rebbe Hoshaya, מלשון ישועה. ישועה means salvation. What is the main ישועה, said the Rebbe, שעיקרה היא הגאולה. גאולה is salvation. So this is Rabbi Hoshaya, which means this Rebbe Hoshaya is explaining to us something which is connected to a state of mind of גאולה. מהי דכתיב צדקת פרזונו בישראל? So Rebbe Hoshaya is asking, what does it mean when the pasuk in the Song of Dvorah says the righteousness of the Pirzon in Israel, that Hashem made a Pirzon in Israel. צדקה עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא בישראל. הקדוש ברוך הוא did a righteous act, a righteous deed with the Jewish people, שפיזרן לבין האומות, that he spread them amongst the nations. And first will come the simple meaning. ופירש רש"י, שאין יכולים לחלוסן יחד. Why is it righteousness from Hashem to spread us all over the nations? So it's not possible to annihilate, to destroy us yachad, all of us together. We cannot be completely destroyed because we are spread all over, and therefore it's not possible to completely destroy us. Vehine, now, what does it mean to be destroyed or not destroyed? עיקר מציאוסם של ישראל הוא לימוד התורה וקיום המצוות. Our main existence is not the physical existence. The physical existence is depending on our true existence. The main existence of the Jewish people is our limud haTorah, learning Torah, בקיום המצוות. ועד, to the extent, שגם ענייני הרשות שלהם הם באופן של בכל דרכיך דאהו. So the way of being of a Jewish person is that even in the matters in the areas of reshus, when they are not engaged in a mitzvah, but that they are engaged with a mundane kind of activity, they should be in a state of mind of bechol derachech b'da'eo, that in all your ways you are attaching yourself to God. So you're constantly going through, experiencing the world while you are using any and every experience to clarify and fortify your connection with Hashem and serving Him. So this is the main kiyum, the main force that gives us our existence, our Torah and mitzvahs, and our awareness and ongoing consciousness and focus and concentration, that we don't just float away through life. Rather, we are using every moment, even in Inyan HaReshus, to connect with the divine, to align with the divine will and see what messages He has for us and how we can serve Him better. ולכן מבאר בעל ההילולה, and therefore the previous Rebbe explains שהכוונה במה שכתוב שאין יכולים לחלוסן היא בעיקר בנוגע לתורה המצוות. That when Rashi says that when we are spread, it's a righteousness that Hashem did with us, because we cannot be destroyed, it's mainly regarding Torah and mitzvahs, which is our main existence. והיינו meaning, שעל ידי זה שישראל מבוזרים בכמה מדינות חולו, that through the fact that the Jewish people are spread in many countries, הנה גם כאשר במדינה אחת דוחקים ולוחצים את בני ישראל, that even in one, if it happens, that in one state or one country, they are oppressing and suppressing בני ישראל, ואינם נותנים להם ללמוד ולקיים את המצוות, and they do not let the Jewish people to learn and to do the mitzvahs, הרי נוסף, which happens every generation, הרי נוסף על זה אשר בני ישראל, הנמצאים בשאר המדינות, עוסקים הם בתורה המצוות, that first of all, the fact that in one country they are oppressing Yidden and don't let them do Torah and mitzvahs, so if we are spread in other countries as well, then still Torah and mitzvahs will be studied in another country. So in addition to that בני ישראל הנמצאים בשאר המדינות, that those Jews who are present in the rest of the countries that are more free, עוסקים הם בתורה ומצוות, they are engaging in learning Torah and performing mitzvahs. הנה על ידי העסק בתורה ומצוות שלהם, so there is, we see like a symbiotic spiritual effect from one place of community, of Jewish community, affecting the other Jewish community in another place. That the Esek HaTorah of those who are in the free countries, through them being engaged in Torah and mitzvahs, הם נותנים כוח ועוז. They give strength and might, גם לאלו היושבים בגזרה רחמנא ליצלן. Also to those who are in a condition of pogroms or decrees from the non-Jewish authorities in their countries. And that learning of Yidden who can learn and doing mitzvahs is giving koyach to those Yidden who cannot do mitzvahs well and being oppressed, שלא להספעל מכל המניעות ועיכובים, not to be affected and overwhelmed by all the obstacles and all the threats and all the difficulties, וללמוד תורה ולקיים מצוות בתוקף דמסירוס נפש. And those who are learning Torah in a free country give strength to those who are oppressed to do Torah in their place with further strength and to the extent of Mesiras Nefesh, of self-sacrifice. The Rebbe once explained that really in a yechidus to someone that really it works vice versa. How so? That let's say then it was very apparent in terms of relationship between the Yidden in America and the Yidden in Russia. That the Yidden in Russia were in an oppressed state and they couldn't do Torah mitzvahs the way they would wish. And the Torah mitzvahs wasn't that perfect for many reasons of not having access to various things and various objects that were needed or having to hide and run away and being in prison, so many reasons. And those in America could do mitzvah to get the best esrog and the best Shabbos and the best candlestick and whatever it was. The Rebbe explained to that person that really one helps the other. How so? That us doing mitzvahs in America in a way that we can do mitzvahs behidur, that affects the mitzvahs of those who are in Russia, that their mitzvahs will be also more behidur. That improves the quality of their mitzvahs. And on the other hand, the Mesiras Nefesh of the Yidden who live in Russia, that affects us, that our Torah and mitzvahs who don't demand so much Mesiras Nefesh in America will be done with Mesiras Nefesh. So we are affecting one affects the other. It's a symbiotic kind of השפעה. ועל ידי זה, הנה לא רק שהגזירות ואולמוס העולם אין יכולים לחלוסם חס ושלום, and through that we have a core relationship between those Yidden who are in the free lands and those who are oppressed in the oppressive lands, not only that the decrees of the non-Jews cannot destroy them, but אלא יסיירה מזו, more than that, further than that, שקיום התורה ומצוות שלהם הוא ביסר סס, that it gives strength for those who are oppressed, that their performance of Torah and mitzvot is done with more strength, ועד שהוא באופן שלמעלה ממדידה והגבלה, to the extent that they reach a manner of performance of Torah mitzvahs that is really unrestrained. There is no limitation anymore. There is nothing that is holding back in a manner of, ובאופן ופרסת. Why? מכיוון שהוא באופן, it breaks barriers. You see that why it is connected to Pirzon and Pazar, ופרצת, to go all the way. מכיוון שהוא באופן, the Mesiras Nefesh, because now the performance, their Yiddishkeit is the Yiddishkeit of Mesiras Nefesh, שהוא למעלה מהשתלשלות שבאדם, that is way above the logic process of a person. And therefore, what is revealed in a person is not his limited powers, but his unlimited powers. And we see it very much so in our times, especially in the battlefield these days, how the soldiers are throwing themselves into the battlefield and they don't hold back at all. So what does it mean? The Mesiras Nefesh goes למעלה מהשתלשלוס, וכידוע שראשיס ההשתלשלוס שבאדם הוא כוח השכל. It's known that the beginning of השתלשלוס, what's the cognitive process by a person? It begins with his mind, with his intellect. מה שאין כן הרצון הוא למעלה מהשתלשלוס. Ratzon, the will of a person, the desire of a person is higher. There is a Ratzon which is born out of Seichel, out of intellect, but really the true Ratzon of the person, which is an expression of the soul, is higher than mind, the intellect, higher than Chokhmah. And therefore Ratzon is stronger than Chokhmah. שראשיס ההשתלשלות שבאדם הוא כוח השכל, מה שאין כן הרצון הוא למעלה מהשתלשלות. The beginning of the cognitive process by a person when he starts making a calculation, if something should or shouldn't, practical, not practical, I should follow it, all this begins with chokhmah, begins with sechel. But this is not the case regarding the ratzon of the person, what he really wants. That's למעלה מהשתלשלות. What a person really, really wants, that comes from higher than sechel. That's just an authentic expression of his soul. והרי עניין המסירוס נפש הוא מצד תוקף הרצון שלמעלה מהשכל. מסירוס נפש comes from the power of will, of ratzon, that is higher than sechel, and it is really an authentic, a direct expression of the soul itself. And that's why it's not limited. וזהו גם מה שמסיים במאמר, and this is, says the Rebbe, how the Friedrich Rebbe ends in his מאמר, שעל ידי המסירוס נפש על תורה, this is the Friedrich Rebbe is saying all this in the Sheva Bachos of his new Chassan, of the Rebbe Shlita, on Yutes Kislev. שעל ידי המסירוס נפש על תורה, יומשך רב טוב לבית ישראל. That says the previous Rebbe, that through the Mesiras Nefesh of Yidden on Torah, there will be brought down Rav Tuv lebeit Israel, to the house of Israel. Tuv b'melapum. Tuv is not Rav Tov, Rav Tuv, with a melupim, which a vav with a, it's called shuruk. שהוא למעלה מטוב בחוילם. There's טוב with the choilam, and there's טוב with the shuruk, milupum, which is טוב with the shuruk is even higher goodness spiritually than טוב with the choilam. והוא, next page, הטוביוס הנבחרס מהטוב. The most selected goodness of the good. It's called טוב. הוא שורש הטוב, that's the origin, the root of goodness. זוהי בחינה של למעלה מהשתלשלות. So for Mesiras Nefesh על התורה, we are going to receive the aspect of טוב, which is the root of טוב, which is the aspect למעלה מהשתלשלות. It's unlimited. ובזה גופה בחינס רב טוב. And in this itself, רב טוב. Which means we're talking about Ein Sof, or Ein Sof, and in this itself, the Rebbe doesn't say it directly here, but it comes up in other places, in this itself, not סתם אור אינסוף, but עצמוס אור אינסוף, רב טוב. והיינו, דכיוון שהמסירות נפש הוא למעלה מהשתלשלות שבאדם. That since מסירות נפש means, that מסירות נפש means throwing oneself into something without any calculation, goes beyond calculation, beyond his personal calculation, what benefits and what doesn't, and if it's worthwhile or not. וזה מגיע, therefore it also reaches the למעלה מהשתלשלות שלמעלה. It reaches in godliness to a level which is also higher than worlds, a level that is not limited, it's not a level anymore, it's אור אינסוף, infinity. לכן, therefore, על ידי המסירות נפש על תורה, through having מסירות נפש, for the Torah, יומשך רב טוב לבית ישראל. Infinite goodness will be brought down to the house of Israel. למטה מ10 טפחים. Lower than 10 טפחים, which means in this physical world. בטוב הנראה והנגלה, טוב and טוב. In goodness that is seen and revealed, ברוחניוס and בגשמיוס. That will be the result of all the mesiras nefesh for the sake of Torah and mitzvahs. I'm going a little fast because I want to get to the Basi Legani. This maimar is leading into Basi Legani of חלק י"ד. וזהו, this is also גם מה שכתוב צדקת פרזונו בישראל. That's why the pasuk in Shiras Dvorah, in the Song of Dvorah, says, the righteousness of the Pirzon of Hashem בישראל. דלכאורה, seemingly, לפי פירוש חז"ל. צדקה שפזרן, it grammatically it doesn't suit. What Chazal say that Hashem spread, פזרן לבין האומות, he spread them. Then it shouldn't say צדקת פרזונו, it should say צדקת פזרונו. Not paraz, rather pazar. But it says tzidkas pirzono, paraz. And Chazal say pazar. So it doesn't match. So לכאורה it says, הוצרך לו לומר tzidkas pizrono. The pasuk should have said the righteousness of pizrono, of Hashem spreading, pazar, spreading the Jewish people amongst the nations to save them. Yet the pasuk says, פרזונו, פרז. אך העניין הוא שהצדקה שעשה הקדוש ברוך הוא בישראל על ידי שפזרם חולו, פזרונו, הוא העניין דפרזונו. The tzedakah that Kadosh Baruch Hu did with the Jewish people by spreading them all over the world, that is pizrono, pazar, the root of pei zayin resh, hu ha'inyan de pirzono. That's what pirzono is. How so? היינו avoided the mesiras nefesh. Pirzono means that you go beyond the limits. Paraz. Beyond, prazos, no limit, no walls, no limitations. מסירת נפש שלמעלה ממדידה והגבלה. מסירת נפש that calls for no holding back, no measure, no limit. שעל ידי זה נמשך גם מלמעלה בחינת רב טוב שלמעלה ממדידה והגבלה. And it's through this, from above, also comes down the source even of goodness. Rav Tuv, unlimited, infinite goodness, which is higher than any measure and limitation, which we will see the Jewish people as a result of the Mesiras Nefesh, that now the entire Jewish people is recruiting to fight this war with the Mesiras Nefesh, whether spiritually or physically, and each one of us is now a chayal or chayeles. None of us should see us as an observer of what's going on. We are part of this war, whether begashmius or beruchnius. But as a result, we see that the unlimited miracle that Hashem will show us, למעלה ממדידה והגבלה. ועל דרך מה שכתוב, like it says, פרזוז תשב ירושלים. Who says that? The prophet Zechariah, who prophesies the Geula and says, ירושלים תשב פרזוז. Yerushalayim, the holy city of Jerusalem, will not have walls around her anymore. She will be spread prazos. She will be so secure and confident that she will spread all over without walls. ופירוש רש"י, שלא יהיה לה קצב ושיעור. What does it mean? פרזוס תשב ירושלים? Yerushalayim will not have a measure anymore, will not have limit anymore. It will be spreading unendingly. והעניין הוא, what is the idea here? והנה, what is it all ברוחניוס? What it is all spiritually? והנה ידוע שירושלים היא ירא שלם. היינו שלימוס הירא. It's known that Yerushalayim is a complete, perfect awe. Shleimus hayira, the ultimate yira shamayim, the ultimate alignment, that a person is so sensitive and so cautious and so careful, willingly, voluntarily, to be aligned with the will of God, that he has shleimus hayira. He's completely transparent. He's ego-free. He's just completely a channel for the divine. היינו נקודת העיר השמיים שלמעלה מן השכל. ירושלים, יראה שלמה, a complete yira, represents the yirat shamayim that a yid and his Yiddish neshama has, which transcends logic altogether. It's just part of it's an expression of the divinity of the soul. B'chinas otzar shel yirat shamayim. Every Jew has inside him a treasure, an otzar of yirat shamayim, of God-fearingness, meaning of complete alignment and submission, not submission in negative way, but a willful submission of really infinitely wanting to be aligned with the will of God and to be a channel of the divine expression in this world. וירא זו היא מבצד עצמוסו יזברך. This yira, this level of holiness that the neshama has, is coming from the essence of God. It's really a piece of God. And it's also the essence of a person. דלא יסרמז ולא שום עוז ולא שום קוץ, which means it comes from a essential aspect of godliness that cannot be represented by any letter, any name, Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei, and not even the kots, the tag, the crown on top of the Yud of the Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei. It's higher than that. It's higher than Havai. It's the essence of God. That's where the Yira comes from. והנה ידוע שבירה יש כמה מדרגות. So now we see that there is an otzar shel yira shamayim lema'ila, or lemata if you want to start from below, and there is otzar shel yira shamayim lema'ila. Otzar shel yira shamayim lemata, the treasure of yira shamayim lemata we describe. The treasure of yira shamayim, of yira shamayim lema'ila, is the gilui of atzmus ein sof. The gilui of godliness itself, not just godliness in relation to worlds, godliness in relation to itself. And this gilui is connected and depending on a mesiras nefesh for Torah and mitzvahs. הנה ידוע, says the Rebbe, that in Yira itself יש כמה מדרגות. In Yira, in the awe of Hashem, there are many, many levels. There is yiras ha'onesh, there is yira to be punished, there is this the lowest, there is yiras chet, there is the fear to sin, there is yiras ha'romemus, there is an awe that the person is embarrassed to be disaligned and to be out of integrity in the presence of godliness. Then there is yiras Elokim itself, and then there is yiras Havaya, when a person directly is now in relation with godliness itself. ובירס הוויה גופה יש כמה בחינות שהם כנגד ד' האוסיות זה שם הוויה. And without going to any details here, in Yiras Havaya, which so far is the highest, it in itself there are different kinds, because there are 4 letters of Shem Havaya. So these Yiras Havaya of this color, of that color, and this level and that level, עד להירה שמצד בחינס קוצו של יוד. The highest yira is the yira that's connected with the tag, the crown on top of the yud K Vav K, which represents Keser. Yet, even the kots on top of the yud, all those aspects of the yud and the hey and the vav and the hey, or if you're going to start milamata lemaila, the hey and the vav and the hey and the yud, and then the crown on top of the yud, all bchinos elo yesh bahem eze tziyur medida. All these aspects of godliness have a certain form, have a certain measure, relatively. Omnam, nekudas hayira shamayim shelemala. However, this otzar that we are talking from Perek chapter Yud Beis 12 in the Maimar Basi Legani, the Frierdiker Rebbe begins to discuss this otzar of Yiras Shamayim, as we learned, which is Or Ein Sof, even higher. We first learned about Or Ein Sof, Lemata Mata Ad and Tachlis. We are in the middle of learning that, and this is the Ois Yud Daled. We'll finish with Or Ein Sof, Lemata Mata Ad and Tachlis. And then, as the Zohar says, Or Ein Sof, Lemala Mala Ad and Case, that will be next Perek, next year. We will see it. We will not have to learn about it. We will see it already, B'ezrat Hashem. And then the Rebbe will say that the Yiras Otzar Shel Yiras Shamayim is even higher than both. So that's what the Rebbe is saying here in the Maimor that the Frierdiker Rebbe said on the Sheva Bachos of our Rebbe, Omnam Nekudas HaYiras Shamayim Shelemala Me'asechel Begilui B'chinas, where am I? Omnam Nekudas HaYiras Shamayim Shelemala Me'asechel. The nekuda of Yiras Shamayim, higher than Sechel, he mitzad atzmuso isbarach, comes from the essence of God, the lo yisramez b'shum kos, that cannot be hinted to, even not by any crown. Forget about leather. The gilui b'china zu, this gilui of the essence of godliness, how is it revealed? Al yedei hamenaged davka. That nekuda of Yiras Shamayim, of infinite Yiras Shamayim, that is found in the essence of every Jewish soul, the Rebbe says here that really the way that it gets revealed is when it has opposition, when it has an enemy. And that's what's happening to us now. Uchema'amar Razal, as the Chachamim say, in Maseches Brachos, והנצח זו בניין ירושלים. נצח זו בניין ירושלים. Chazal say the different spheros. חסד, גבורה, תפארת, נצח, הוד, נצח and hod. So חסד, they say it's called גדולה. גדולה זה מעשה בראשית, say Chazal in Brachos. גדולה is the action of creation. We see that it represents chesed, the gdula of Hashem, is endless creatures, whether it is types of people and types of animals and types of plants and types of rocks and so on and so forth, endless. That's gdula, the expression of gdulas Hashem. And what is gvura, say Chazal? That's Yetzias Mitzrayim, when Hashem showed his yad HaChazakah, the gvura that he took us with out of Mitzrayim. Then it says, what is Tif'eres? Say Chazal, Tif'eres is Matan Torah. Then they say, Netzach, ze binyan Yerushalayim. And then Hod is binyan Beis HaMikdash. What is Netzach? Netzach is the need to overcome, Netzach means victory, to be victorious and overcome a menaged, to overcome opposition, to overcome an enemy. And an enemy here, we spoke about a real enemy that was to uproot Yiddishkeit and uproot Yidden. Uproot God from the world. uproot kedusha, holiness and godliness from the consciousness of human beings. הנה אז מתעורר התוקף למסירות נפש שלמעלה מהשכל. That's connected to ירושלים. זה בניין ירושלים. נצח is connected with the אוצר of ירושלים, יראה שלמה, a complete יראה, the highest level of יראת שמיים, which is the essence of the neshama and the essence of God. How does it get revealed? נצח, through overcoming an opposition. כמאמר רז"ל, as the Chachamim say, והנצח זו בניין ירושלים. Netzach is the building of Yerushalayim. How the יראה שלמה is being built up. ושדווקא כאשר יש מניעות ועיכובים על תורה ומצוות, דווקא when there are obstacles and holdbacks on the learning of the Torah and doing mitzvahs, and we are attacked for that and we are oppressed and so on and so forth, הנה אז מתעורר התוקף למסירות נפש שלמעלה מהשכל. Then is awakened the mightiness of the Mesiras Nefesh that transcends any limitations of logic. B'chinas otzar shel yiras shamayim. Now the otzar, this treasure, this hidden treasure of yiras shamayim, of total alignment with godliness in the neshama of every yid is revealed. וזהו מה שכתוב, צדקת פרזונו בישראל ולא פזרונו. This is why Dvorah HaNeviah is praising Hashem and says this, the righteousness of the Pirzon of Israel, but not Pizron. Why? Because הצדקה שעשה הקדוש ברוך הוא בישראל על ידי שפיזרן לבין האומות, the righteousness, the chesed, the kindness that Hashem did with the Jewish people when he spread them amongst the nations, הוא עניין דפרזונו. This is the עניין of the prazos, שלמעלה ממדידה והגבלה. That means that Hashem gives us the opportunity to reach the condition of prazos teshev Yerushalayim, to reach a spiritual condition of למעלה ממדידה והגבלה, that is based on a revelation, the divine revelation that is unlimited, and also the unlimited powers of ourselves is also revealed. The prazos of a person, the unlimited way of being of a person is being revealed. B'chinas prazos teshev Yerushalayim. Now Yerushalayim doesn't need any walls. She is confident, she is secure. Please mute yourself. She is confident and she is secure and she can spread without any fear. והיינו שעל ידי המניעוס ועיכובים, through all the obstacles, all the enemies, שבזמן הגלוס, in the time of exile, שאז ישנו העניין דפזרן לבין האומות, then we find ourselves in a condition of galus, that we are spread among the nations. For what? לצורך avoidas habirurim, for the sake of the avoida, of refining and elevating the world. והיינו, לפי next page, שבירור הניצוצות אינו יכול להיות כפי שהיה בזמן שלמה. Let's try to finish it today. So next week we will actually start the Basi Legani. That the בירור הניצוצות אינו יכול להיות, I'm page י' base, כפי שהיה בזמן שלמה. At the time of Galus, the way we elevate the divine sparks all over cannot be like at the time of Shlomo. That in King Solomon, we could stay in the land of the Holy Land, שאז נכללו הניצוצות בדרך ממילא כנר בפני האבוקה. Then the power of Shlomo, the spiritual power of his light, was so strong that it functioned like a big torch, a big bonfire that draws into it all the sparks. So he could stay in his place and all the sparks were drawn to him. מה שאין כן בזמן הגלוס, in the time of exile, צריכים בני ישראל ללך למקומות שבהם נמצאים הניצוצים ולבררם במקומם. When we don't have the temple, then at the time of galus, of exile, then the Jewish people have to move to different places in which sparks are present, and to release and elevate them in their place. על ידי זה דווקא מתעורר ומתגלה בחינת ירושלים. Through this דווקא, through this avoida, the challenging work of going from place to place and being tackled with all kinds of difficulties, and yet using the language, the mentalities, the objects, the time, the space, everything for the sake of serving Hashem and elevating the Nitzutzos, that is awakening and reveals B'chinas Yerushalayim, this treasure of Yiras Shamayim שבכל אחד מישראל, which is within each and every Yid, מצד עצם הנשמה, that is coming from the essence of the soul, שלמעלה ממדידה והגבלה, that is way higher than any limitation. ועל ידי זה נמשך גם מלמעלה. And through this kind of an attitude and conduct, from למעלה, the same thing comes down. From the אוצרו הטוב, from the good treasure of God, שלמעלה מהשתלשלוס, that is way above worlds and limitations, כמו שכתוב, as it says in פרשת כי סבו, יפתח הוויה לך אס אוצרו הטוב. Havaya should open for you his good treasure, שימשך בחינס ורב טוב לבית ישראל, that his infinite goodness will be drawn down upon the house of Israel. And now let's finish the finale. Gimel, והעניין הוא, the idea is, כמו שנסבאר בהמיימר על פי מה שאנו רואים במלך בשר ודם. And as the Frierdiker Rebbe, says the Rebbe, explained it in his Maimar, as we see by a king, a human king, שיש לו אוצרות יקרים שאינו משתמש בהם גם לצורך היותר גדול. A human king who has tremendous treasures that he does not use even for the greatest need. ועד שהם כמוסים מאין כל רואה. Not only he doesn't use them, nobody sees them, and of no eye sees them, only the king himself. ומכל מקום כאשר ישנה מלחמה, nevertheless when there is a war, אזי מבזבז המלך את כל אוצרותיו. Then the king splurges all his treasures בכדי לנצח את אויביו ומנגדיו, in order to overcome and be victorious over his enemies and his opposers. והדוגמה מזה למעלה, and the example of this from above, is לבחינת אוצר העליון. This is what's happening now, that Hashem is compelled. Now this is a war against God, and it looks like the whole world is joining that. And now the Hashem is giving the בחינת אוצר העליון, the divine treasure, הוא בחינת שלמעלה מאור וגילוי. This divine treasure is Hashem now making available those divine aspects that were by default higher than any light. It's not about lights. It's not about revelations. It's higher. It's this Otzar Kamus, which means aspects of godliness that are not shaykh to Gilui at all. Even that Hashem now makes available. והדרך זהו גם בנשמה. And so too happens in the neshama when there are enemies. שבחינת האוצר של יראת שמיים שבנשמה, the treasure of Yiras Shamayim in the essence of the Jewish soul, הוא בחינת נקודת היראת שמיים שבתעלומos lev. It is the point of Yiras Shamayim in the depths and recesses of the Jewish heart, שמצד עצם הנשמה, that is an expression of the essence of his soul, שלמעלה מבחינת הגילויים, that is higher than גילויים. It's not about manifestations. It's just the essence of what the essence is made of. It's not about performances. It's what we are. והיינו דבחינס נקודס היראת שמיים היא לא רק למעלה מהשכל. The nekuda of Yiras Shamayim is not only higher than intellect and logic, which is the reishis hakochos hapnimim, which is the beginning of the inner conscious powers that we have. כי אם rather שהיא למעלה גם מכללוס בחינת הגילויים דנשמה. The Nekuda of Yiras Shamayim is higher than the general Giluim of the Neshama altogether. The Neshama can reveal itself in many ways, but there is an aspect of the Neshama that is not revealable, and even that gets revealed. גם מבחינת המקיפים חיה ויחידה. So the Rebbe says that this Nekuda of Yiras Shamayim, this treasure, that is the essence of every Jew, is even higher than our Makifim powers, the Chaya and Yechida. It's even higher than Yechida. You hear that? והנה גם יחידה היא רק בחינת שם וגילוי בלבד. Yechida is even though we always say that Yechida is the highest aspect of the Neshama, but it says Chamisha Shemus Nikre'u La, that the soul is called by 5 names. Yechida is the highest name of the soul, but it's only a name of the soul. Shem v'gilui, it's only a revelation of the essence of the soul. וכמאמר הז"ל, 5 שמות נקראו לה, נפש, רוח, נשמה, חיה, יחידה. 5 names were given to the neshama. Nefesh, the lowest, ruach, neshama, chaya, and yechida. But even b'chinas yechida, היא רק שם וגילוי בלבד, ולא עצם הנשמה. That means that even the yechida is only a shame, only a title, and not the essence itself. The essence itself is called yachid. Here the Rebbe is not saying it, I think, but it's called yachid, which means that godliness itself. ועניין נקודת יראת שמיים הוא מצד עצם הנשמה. The עניין, the אוצר of יראת שמיים, that is revealed when we are in a condition that brings out mesiras nefesh, comes from mamash the עצם of neshama, the way it is godliness, higher than יחידה. וזהו מה שיראה זו היא מגס בעצמוסו יתברך. And this type of יראה, that is not based on any calculation of self-benefit, reaches the essence of God. וכנ"ל סעיף ב' שיראה זו היא מצד עצמוסו יתברך. This יראה comes and touches the essence of God, דלא יסרמז לא בשום עוס ולא בשום קוץ. It's not, cannot be represented and hinted to, not by any letter of Shem Havaya, and not even the crown on the top of the letter. וכיוון שיראה זו היא מצד עצם הנשמה, שלמעלה מההי שמוס נרן חי, that since this יראה comes from the essence of the soul that is higher than the 5 names of the soul, nefesh, ruach, נשמה, חיה, יחידה, therefore, לכן היא מגס למעלה מהדלס אוסיוס, דשם הוויה ובחינת קוצה של יוד. Therefore, this יראת שמיים, and עצם הנשמה, reaches higher than the 4 letters of the name of Havaya, which is the name of Or Ein Sof, and even higher than the crown of the Yud on the name of Shem Havaya. דהיינו, שמגס בעצמוסו יתברך. This יראת שמיים touches the essence of God itself, וגילוי בחינה זו בשביל הניצחון. And when Hashem reveals this aspect, it is for the sake of being victorious, שזהו עניין העבודה דמסירות נפש בפועל. This is the עניין העבודה with self-sacrifice in actuality, שעל ידי being selfless, שעל ידי זה דווקא מנצחים את המלחמה. That by this type of not calculation-based type of fighting, we win the war. וזוהי הנשינס כוח. And this is from above, the divine empowerment לכל אחד ואחד מישראל. And in our times, how much more so? The Rebbe is saying it all for us now, to each and every one of us. וכמאמר הז"ל, שהקדוש ברוך הוא עזרו, הקדוש ברוך הוא assists each and every one of us, שעל ידי זה יוכל לנצח במלחמה, בעבודתו בכל יום, that through this assistance from above, one can win the war daily in his divine service, each and every day. ולא רק ביום השבת, not only Shabbos that he can be holy, every day, באדרבה, on the contrary, Yom HaShabbos is a time of peace. It's not time of milchama. It's not time of mesiras nefesh. It's not time of war. It's dafka during the week. it can be revealed even more. והיינו, next page, י"ג, על ידי כוח המסירות נפש שלמעלה ממדידה והגבלה, through the power of self-devotion and sacrifice, which is higher than any limitation, שלכן הרי זה למעלה מחשבונס. That's why it's higher than any calculations, וכמו בעניין בזבוז האוצרות, like the king who doesn't make any calculation when he splurges the treasures, שמצד, the royal treasures, שמצד עניין המסירות נפש, לא שייך שיעשה חשבון. Because of מסירות נפש, because מצד that, it's not, doesn't apply and not שייך, that he should make any calculation אם לבזבז האוצרות עבור עניין פלוני חולו, if he should splurge the treasures or not. הוא מבאר במיימר, and Friedrich Rebbe explained in his מימר, as we learned, כשם שבעניין כיבוש המלחמה בגשמיוס, הרי ישנם חכמים גדולים השוקדים בחוכמות של תכסיסי המלחמה, וישנם אנשי חיל שאינם יודעים כלל עמקי החוכמות של תכסיסי המלחמה, אלא הם עובדים באמונה ובמסירות נפש. The Rebbe says that just like in winning a physical war, there are those who are great military intellects that are great experts in the tactics and the knowledge of war. And then there are the simple warriors, the simple soldiers that don't know any of the sophisticated tactics of war, and they just do faithfully, they follow the orders that the commanders are giving them. But ועיקר כיבוש המלחמה הוא על ידי אנשי החיל, הלוחמים במסירות נפש. But the main winning of the war is done through the simple soldiers that are fighting with מסירות נפש, הם המנצחים. They are the ones that are victorious. על דרך זהו גם במלחמה הרוחנית. So too is also in the spiritual war, says the Rebbe. שהמנצחים את המלחמה הם החיל אשר יראת הוויה נגע בליבם. That those who are winning the war are those who יראת הוויה נגע בליבם. Many make the mistake in נגע, they say touch, the יראת הוויה touch their heart. It's true, it also touched the heart, but נגע with touching with an ayin. נגע with a hay is like noga, which means lights, shines. יראת Hashem נגע בליבם, shines in their heart. Those who got to the point of מסירות נפש, when this otzar in the neshama is revealed, that they are now, their heart is filled with the shining of יראת Hashem, that is not based on any calculation, למעלה מטעם ודעת, כמו שנסביר שם באריכוס. These are the soldiers that are fighting the war, והנה מה שאומר שהניצחון המלחמה הוא על ידי אנשי חיל דווקא. This what he says, that דווקא the simple soldiers, they are the ones that win the war, אין הכוונה לשלול חס ושלום את הפקידים הגבוהים העוסקים בתכסיסי המלחמה, כי אם שגם עבודתם של הפקידים הגבוהים צריכה להיות לא מצד השכל, וגם לא מצד בחינת הגילויים של למעלה מהשכל, כי אם באופן למסירות נפש כמו חיילים פשוטים. The Rebbe says, when the Friedrich Rebbe says that the nitzachon, the victory of the war, is accomplished dafka through the simple soldiers, it doesn't come to negate the commanders and those high commanders that are planning all the tactics and all the plan how to fight and how to go about the milchama. Of course they are included, but what it means is that they too, the way they are conducting and running and leading the war should be also not just based mitzadas on sechel, on logical tactics, and not even giluim shelemala min sechel, but they also should plan the war and give the orders and commands in a manner of mesiras nefesh. The whole process, mind process, should be illuminated with mesiras nefesh, like simple soldiers, כמו חיילים פשוטים. שעל ידי זה גם העבודה שלהם היא מצד עצם הנשמה שלמעלה מבחינת הגילויים. Then through this, that even the avodah of the commanders, those who plan the war, will be also coming from the aspect of the essence of the soul higher than any manifestation, normal manifestations or gilui, revelations of the soul. The essence of the soul itself, that by default is usually not revealed. שאז נכללים גם הם, then even the commanders are included בכלל החיל אשר ירס הוויה נגע בליבם. They are included in those battalions that the אוצר of yiras havaya is shining in their hearts. Why in the heart? Why not in the mind? ומה שמדייק נגע בליבם, that it shines in the heart, היינו לפי שבחינת עצם הנשמה שלמעלה מבחינת הגילויים היא דווקא בלב ולא במוח. Usually we run by our consciousness. But when the עצם הנשמה is revealed, the עצם הנשמה that is higher than any manifestation, any revelations, that דווקא is revealed in the heart, in the נקודת הלב. והנה כשם שבמלכוס הדערה, בכדי לנצח את המלחמה, we are almost done, מבזבז המלך אוצרותיו ונושא אותם לאנשי החיל. And now, just as a physical kingdom, when the king is now engaged in a war, when there are enemies that are challenging his kingship, the king now splurges all his treasures and gives them and allocates and gives them to אנשי החיל, to the soldiers. הדרך זהו גם במלכוס הדרקיע. So too it is in the divine kingdom, שבכדי לנצח את המלחמה, that in order you think, oh, only the big ones, only the big rabbis are getting special koiches. No, in order to win the war, פוסחים את האוצר העליון, they open the divine treasure that is never revealed. It's not revealable by default. שלמעלה מבחינת גילוי, that is higher than even a גילוי, ונוסנים אותו לישראל. Yet it is given to Israel, שעל ידי זה מסגלה האוצר של יראת שמיים שבהם. So this, the inner אוצר of the יראת שמיים, of the essence of the נשמה הרביעית, is now shining in the heart. In the heart is revealed. וכן הוא גם לאידך גיסא. Also the other way around. מלמטה למעלה, from below up. שעל ידי שישראל לומדים, so מלמעלה למטה, from up down, is by Hashem giving, splurging the oitzer, we are awakened with yiras shamayim revealed in our heart. It's so also the other way around, מלמטה למעלה, שעל ידי שישראל לומדים במסירות נפש, by ידן standing strong, מסירות נפש, ומעוררים את האוצר של יראת שמיים שבהם. We awaken the treasure, the infinite treasure of Yiras Shamayim, where can be stubbornly aligned with the will of Hashem, not be afraid of anything, not make any cheshbonos. We can do it. שעל ידי שישראל לומדים מסירות נפש, מעוררים האוצר של יראת שמיים שבהם, then אזי רוח הייתי רוח. Then their spirit calls for the divine spirit, שפותחים עבורם את האוצר של למעלה. That they open for the sake of each and every Jew, each and every soldier, the oisar of Yiras Shamayim from above, the essence of godliness. Yiftach havaya lecha et otzaro atov. Havaya should open for you his good treasure. וזה מסייע אותם בעבודתם לכבוש את המלחמה. This assists Bnei Yisrael in their work to conquer and to be victorious in the war. ועד שזה נמשך גם בגשמיוס, until it comes down to be expressed physically, שנמשך רב טוב לבית ישראל, that unlimited goodness is coming down in revealed way to the Jewish people, למטה מעשר הטפחים, בטוב, in a goodness which is a נראה והנגלה, seen and revealed. And then, ויובן זה בפרטיס, we don't have more than that, and this is the few pages that are left from Shabbos day, Tafshin Chavdalet, and then ויובן זה בפרטיוס, this will be understood in details, בהקדים המבואר במיימר שניתן ליום ההילולה, when we first bring that which is explained in the Maimar that was given to Yud Shvat, Yom HaIlula, Basi Legani Achoisi Kala, and the Rebbe began to explain. And we will learn in Mirza Hashem next week the Basi Legani, the Rebbe taught Motzei Shabbos when it was recorded and explained Os Yud Daled, together with comments that Reb Yoel made to compare with the other Maimarim that the Rebbe said Friday night and Shabbos day. This is the opening to the Maimar of Shabbos day, Tzidkas Pirzono. This is what we learn today.